Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to share with you my favorite makeup brushes. These are brushes that work really well for me. They're ones that I use on the daily, they're ones I travel with, and they're just staples in my brush collection. And I have a ton of makeup brushes, but you know, if you have a lot of anything, there's definitely products that you definitely gravitate towards and use more than others. So I'm going to narrow it down for you guys and share with you the ones that I use the most and that I think are completely worth it. So the first one I'm going to share with you is from Real Techniques, and it is the Real Techniques powder brush. Now I have several powder brushes, and this one is my absolute favorite, and it's also the most affordable. So I think this brush retails for about $10 or so, give or take a couple bucks, and it is the best. It's lasted longer than some of my other brushes, and it has never shed on me or anything like that. So that's especially important, and I love at how soft this brush is. I feel like it's really important to have a brush that is soft because you don't want something that's scratching at your face, especially something like a powder brush. I think it's really important for it to be really soft, really nice on the skin because it's something that you're applying all over your face. And the thing I love about this is how big it is. It is such a big fluffy brush that it just gets so much surface area, and I love that about it. You can powder your face up in a couple seconds. So that's the thing I really enjoy about this brush. It's really great to use and it's really affordable, which is the best part. Now moving on from that one, I'm going to share with you a smaller powder brush that I love. And this one is from Sigma. This is the Sigma F35. And this is the most beneficial brush you will use for underneath your eye area. I love this brush because it is so good at wiping off any excess product under here, and it's such the perfect size. It's really nice and tapered. It's very soft. I know underneath the eye is a very sensitive area because it's very thin skin, so it's nice to have something that's really soft for that area especially, and this one is perfect. I've been using this for years and years and years. I have two of them, and I just love it for applying any powder under here or dusting off any excess powder that I have. And this one's also great for applying like any powder to the lid to set your primer, your concealer, whatever the case may be. I just feel like this is great for around the eye area, and it's a good brush. Like, I've never had any problem with it as well. I think Sigma's brushes are pretty good. I've only had like a few of them not really work out for me, but this one has been a keeper and it's lasted me for a really long time. So it's really great to have in your collection, especially for people who are just, you know, baking and things like that. It's just gonna move that product away with ease, and it's not gonna like tug on the skin or anything like that, and it's super, super soft. Okay, so moving on from that, I'm gonna share with you a bronzing brush. Now this was, I think, supposed to be a powdering brush, but I love it for bronzing. This is from the Morphe Rose Gold collection, and it came in like a nice little canister, and it was really affordable. I think the whole set was like $35, which is pretty good because it came with like 7 or 8 brushes, I believe. And these brushes do not have the exact model number, so I don't know which one exactly, but I love this one. And this is like a white-haired brush, and I love the size of it because it's great for bronzing my skin. Like, sometimes I don't want to go in with a contour, I just want to bronze, and I think that this is the perfect size because it is nice and fluffy, but it's also very small and rounded, so it really does really well with focused areas, and it disperses the bronzer really nicely. And I think because it is a like white-haired brush, it doesn't lay down too much product. So that's really good about it because I think it is synthetic. So it does hold on to the product, so I don't have too much on the skin, especially bronzing. I don't want to go too crazy with it, and I feel like, I don't know, this product just works well for me. I think that I was very surprised by it because when I first started hearing about Morphe, it was just like always from YouTubers, and they were just going so hard for it. And like, sometimes I am a little bit critical when it comes to things that every YouTuber is talking about, because I'm like, is this just like a PR thing? Like, are they trying to get like incentives or whatever the case may be? But I did just try this out when I bought my Jaclyn Hill product, and I love it. I think it's a great brush, and it's very affordable as well. So pretty much all my brushes are dirty, sorry about that. It's my go-to brush, and I love it because it just disperses the product on so nicely without getting the bronzer everywhere. It's just a really nice, focused, fluffy brush, I want to say. Now moving on from that, I'm going to share with you my favorite contour brush. Now this brush is a little bit on the pricier side, but for the price point, it's completely worth it. And it is the NARS Khabuki brush. I bought this brush like 5 years ago when it first launched, and it is amazing, you guys. If you want that chiseled cut contour, this is the brush you absolutely need to have. I know there's dupes for it. There's like a billion and one brushes similar, but I've tried several of them and none of them seem to work the way that this one does. The way that it applies the product to the skin is unbeatable, I feel, in comparison to the other ones, because I feel like sometimes they're a little bit too dense and they give you more of a harsh contour, whereas this one just puts the product down so nicely and it's easy to blend away because it doesn't just place a stamp of that product, which is the problem I had with the other brushes that are similar to this. I feel like NARS did a really good job with the bristles, with the looseness of it and the product in itself. I haven't had any problems with it shedding or anything like that, and I know that this brush is like 45 or 50 bucks, and that is a little bit expensive, especially for like a little brush like this, but I really feel like this is the best brush for creating that really nice contour. And the great thing about this brush is you can lay down a harsh contour or you can lay down a nice soft contour and just blend it out with this brush because it is so soft. So I definitely suggest this brush. I know it is a little bit pricier, but if you get it, I think that you will enjoy it because it is so good. And I mean, pretty much everyone who has this brush definitely attests to it because it is so good, and no matter what dupe they come out with, I just feel like no one could get it down like NARS did. So if they did have a cheaper alternative, I would be really happy about it because this brush is the jam, and who doesn't want to save money? But for right now, this is the best one on the market, and I think that you should probably go get it if you're into contouring, like really deep into contouring. Now, as far as highlighting goes, I have tried so many highlighting brushes, and I go through phases with highlighting brushes, I feel like. But for the longest period of time, I feel like this brush has been the one that I go to religiously. It's the one I travel with. I just feel like so lost without it, and I feel like the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighting brush is the best. I just think that it makes the highlight lay down so nicely on the cheeks, and it's so precise. And I don't know if it's the brush hairs or whatever the case may be, but when I apply this on, it makes the product really stay and it doesn't make it like kind of just go away. I know sometimes when I apply highlight with different brushes, it kind of just sweeps it on and sweeps it off, whereas this one, it just lays down the product and it gives me that effect that I want from a highlighter. I want my highlighter to be beaming, I want it to be like bam on the skin, and it lays down the product so it's able to do so. So sometimes it's not really the product as much as it is your technique or the tools that you're using. And I definitely feel like this tool is essential because it just lays down highlight for me the best. And I just love the size of it because it's not too big, but it's also not too small. So when you apply it, it gets in those really small areas really nicely, and especially like my nose and stuff, it's nice for that too because it's not too big. So I really enjoyed this. I think Anastasia did a great job with this brush. This is one of my favorite brushes that I have here, and I use it non-stop. Now, moving on from that, I'm going to share with you a blush brush. Now, the blush brush that works best for me is this one from Sigma, and it is the Sigma F10. And the thing I love about this brush is that not only is it really soft, but the size of it is perfect for blush. Now, we know that blush can go real bad real quick. If you place too much product down, you can look like a clown. It could just be like bam in your face blush. But I feel like this brush just makes applying blush so easy. It disperses products so nicely, and I feel like you can't really go wrong when you use this brush because it is not so large. I feel like you can't go crazy with the product. So when you apply it to the skin, it's just perfect for applying any color, and it won't make it go on too harsh because of the size of it. It's not going to be too big where you just boom put a big stamp of blush on. It's just a really nice size, and it's so soft, and it makes it easy to blend because it is not too dense. So Sigma did an awesome job with this. I think it makes putting on blush so easy, and it makes it not so tricky because it can get tricky and it can get overpowering really easily, and that's just not something we want, you know? So I feel like they made blush like really foolproof with this brush, and I really enjoy it, and it's been my jam for a while. And yeah, I love this brush. Now, moving on to face brushes. Now, when it comes to Khabuki brushes, for the longest time, I was all about Sigma. I loved their Khabuki brush set, and I got it like forever ago, like when I was in nursing school, I think it was. But I will say that Sigma Khabuki brushes do shed. The brush that I think that is totally worth it, it's gonna last, it's gonna stay in place and not fall apart, is this one from Zoeva. This is the Zoeva Buffer Brush. It's the 104, and it is just a flat kabuki. But when I tell you that Zoeva's brushes, I have a whole set of them. They're some of the best, like as far as quality wise. I think they did such a great job with all of their brushes. They all just feel like such great quality when you hold them. The barrels are heavy, the bevels are nice and solid, the brushes don't fall apart. I think Zoeva is one of the best brush brands as far as like Sigma, Morphe, and all those things. I think that Zoeva definitely takes the cake for brushes. It's just that their brushes are so expensive, so that's the drawback, but I guess you kind of get what you're paying for with them. But with this buffering brush, it just feels like such quality, and it's lasted for a long time. I've washed it so many times, never have had a hair come out, so I think that's really great, and I've had that consistently across the board with all the brushes I have from them. And I just love how this applies the product. It's such a smooth brush, and the brush hairs are so soft, and it doesn't leave my face all streaky. And I love the Sigma one too, but I just think that this one is that much better. And if you're gonna buy a brush that's expensive, you want it to be good quality, and I feel like as far as quality, this one is definitely gonna take the cake, and you're gonna get your money's worth, because I've had this brush already for like 2 years and I've never had one problem, whereas the Sigma ones, I've kind of gone through 2 or 3 of them in 2-3 years time. So I definitely feel like this one is really great, and even though it's a little bit pricier, you will not regret it because the longevity of it will be worth it. Now the last face product I'm going to share with you is not so much a brush as it is a sponge. Now we all love sponges, whether it's beauty blender, whatever the case may be. I feel like sponges are just, you can't beat them. I love them for placing underneath my eyes especially. I feel like nothing can make my concealer apply as well as any kind of blender sponge. So I'm going to share with you 4. I'm going to go from like obviously most expensive to least expensive. And the first one is, of course, the Beauty Blender. This is the OG of makeup sponges. I love this. When you wet it, it goes really large and it just applies your product really nicely. And I know that sometimes with makeup brushes, there can be streakiness to the skin, especially to foundation. I personally don't have too much of a problem with that. I tend to be lucky with streakiness and applying anything with a brush on the face. But I definitely feel like the Beauty Blender is just way more seamless. It makes the product go on a little bit lighter and you're not using as much product. But I will say that you waste a little bit more product with the blender because it does absorb some of the excess foundation or whatever the product is. So I think that if you're someone who's balling on a budget, you don't want to like kind of waste your product too much, or you're scared that you're going to go through too much product, like this may not work for you. As far as foundation, you might do better with a brush. But I definitely suggest it if you're someone who has a heavy hand, because this will make your foundation look a little bit more seamless, a little bit more flawless, and more natural. So I think that it is a really great sponge, and I love it for concealer. Like it is unbeatable for applying concealer. It just makes concealer lay down so nicely. It doesn't give me creases, and it's also great for setting concealer with any loose powder you have because it just holds onto the powder really nicely. So some other like more affordable ones that I think that are equally as good are the ones from Morphe. This one is so disgusting, sorry about that, but it's the only one I could find. It's the only one I have actually. So the Morphe one is awesome. It's really big, it's very soft, it doesn't feel too dense. So I feel like some of the more affordable ones get a little bit more firm and they don't apply the product as nicely as the Beauty Blender, and that's why it's been like the top of the game for sponges because it's just so soft. The Morphe one is a second runner up, I would say, because it is super, super soft. I love the way that this applies loose powder to the skin. I feel like it applies it better than any sponge that I'm going to share with you. And it's just really affordable. This is $6. You can't beat that. So the Morphe one, also really great if you want something similar to the Beauty Blender but much cheaper. The next one that I think is great is from Real Techniques. This is the Real Techniques Diamond Sponge, and this is so incredibly soft. I think they did such a wonderful job with this. Also, this retails for I think $4 or $5, and Real Techniques really hit the ball out of the park with this sponge because it is so soft, and I love the dimensions to this sponge which make it so appealing. So this sponge has a flat end which you can apply obviously your foundation with. It has these like really nice like facets here, and that makes it easy to apply things into hard to reach areas like under your eyes and things like that, and the point makes those like really hard to reach areas that much easier. So I feel like they did a good job with the design of this. At first I was like, why would they do this a diamond? But I really like it, and it's so easy to apply product with it. You can carve out your face with this, you can get into fine areas, you can do your whole face with this. I just feel like it's such a great sponge. Also very universal, easy to use. You can use this really nicely with powders as well, and it holds onto powders nicely as well, but nothing beats the one from Morphe. Now the last sponge I'm going to share with you is from Ecotools, and this one is also very dirty, sorry about that, but this one is really nice. This comes with two sponges, but my favorite is this one, and it gets so large, but this one is so nice. It's also super soft. I will say that of all these brushes, this is the least durable. This one has broken on me already, like started to crack, which is not so great, but I do love this. It's only a few bucks. I think it's like $8 for the two of them. So you do get two products for like a really affordable price. I do like this a lot. It's really soft, really nice to use. I was really surprised when I purchased it because I was not expecting too much from it, but it is a great product and it's super affordable. So that's one thing I like about this as well. So I feel like they kind of give you 4 options as far as sponges because there's so many out there that these are really the best, I think. So now I'm going to share with you some brushes I use to apply my eyeshadow, and I feel like eyeshadow is very important to have the right tools because you need to make sure your eyeshadow is blended properly, that the product's placed on the lid properly, and that it looks nice. So the eyeshadow brushes that I absolutely love is first the Sigma. This is the Sigma E40. This has been an OG for me. Me and the Sigma brush go way back. I think that this is the best blending brush ever. It's so nice. It just blends eyeshadows perfectly into the crease, and it also makes your eyeshadow not choppy. Like I never have a problem with it being choppy on the lid, and in addition to that, it's just also very soft. So I definitely love this one. This is something I use every single day. I have like 3 of them and I love them all. The next one I'm going to share with you, also a blending brush, and this one is one I like to use in my crease as well. And this also comes from that Morphe Rose Gold collection. And I love this one because it is a tapered blending brush and it really gets into the crease and kind of chisels out that area. So if you want a more defined area, something that is going to be a little bit more precise, this brush is really awesome. I love it. It's really great for creating the cut in the crease as well. It just helps to lay down the product really nicely in that one area that you're applying it because of the taperedness to it. So this one's great. I love it so much. I was really shocked. Okay, Morphe, I got you, girl. Now the next brush I'm going to share with you is also from Sigma. This is the Sigma E25. This one also is a very OG brush for me. This one is great for applying anything to the outer V. I think it's really nice because it lays down the product really nicely and it blends it out really well. And I believe this is a goat haired brush if I'm not mistaken, so it doesn't hold onto too much product. And because I think this is a goat haired brush, it makes the product go down not too heavy. So you're not going to go too crazy with product. So if you apply a black or really deep dark eyeshadow, it's going to make that product go on really seamlessly and not too heavy where you look absolutely insane. So great brush. I've been using this for a long time. This is one of my most used brushes, I would say, when it comes to the eyes. Now moving on from that, I'm going to share with you one from Zoeva. This is the Zoeva 234 brush. This is my favorite for underneath my brow bone. It is a white haired brush, and I think that I like the white haired brush for underneath the brow bone because it is a small area and you don't want to go too crazy with product under that area. That is the part of the eye that I like to highlight. So I don't want my highlight to look insane. I don't want to look absolutely crazy. So I think that it lays down product really nicely without being over the top, and it's the perfect size. It's really rounded and nice and small. So it gets into that area really easily. It makes putting down the product really easy and foolproof so you won't go too crazy. The next one I'm going to share with you is a domed utility brush. This is the E34, and this is from Sigma. And this brush is especially beneficial for me for my inner tear ducts. I feel like it is such a perfect shape for that area. It is small, it is domed, it's just the perfect size for that area. So when you're going to apply your inner tear duct highlight, it's just like boom right there, and it won't make that area go crazy because it's so small and precise. Because I feel like you can lay down too much product in that area, and like your brow bones, you don't want your inner tear duct highlight to be like too insane. You don't want it to be too like all over the place because it can look a little crazy if you get it outside of the area you want to highlight. So this one makes it also very easy, very foolproof, and it makes it hard to not mess up when applying it to those areas. Now the last brush I am going to share with you is from Sigma, and this is the Sigma pencil brush. This is the E30, and this one I love for just applying underneath my eyes. This is great for buffing out your under eye area, for blowing out that under eye area, and applying any kind of product to it. It's tapered and it's nice. I love it. It's pretty like self-explanatory what the pencil brush is for, but this one's my favorite. I've been using it for a long time, and it's also very soft, which is why I like it, because that area is so sensitive for me, and I feel like if it's a harsh brush and the brush hairs are too firm, it's not going to do well with me. It's going to make my eyes tear up. So I just love the Sigma one because it's really great, and I've been using it for a long time, and it just hasn't done me wrong. So I didn't share with you any brushes for just packing on product because I feel like there's so many brushes out there that are good. Like there's not one specific that I love and that I absolutely need to have. I think like there's so many. I think MAC has one that's really good, and so does Real Technique. So there's not one specific one that I absolutely love, and I think that you guys absolutely have to have. So this will conclude this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye guys.